Hey, everybody. It is the first Monday of the month. So we're going to take a little break from malt liquor macro Monday and go back to just plain old macro Monday. And we're going to have Schlitz. And of course, it's not made anymore. So why not give it a shot? Thanks for joining us.
Schlitz, Schlitz, mitten durch das Herz. Schlitz, Schlitz, und ich halte dich trotzdem fest. Schlitz, niemand sieht es gleich. Schlitz, 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 doch du kommst nicht mehr weit.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. It is Macro Monday, everybody's favorite Monday. And as noted in the intro, we are taking a break from the malt liquors. Hallelujah. And we're going to go back and just do regular Macro Monday. I never thought I'd be so excited just to have a regular Macro Monday. But here we are.
What you asked for.
Yeah. So there's Andy in the attic. There's Jay. I have been. What are we drinking today?
Beer that's going extinct. Schlitz. You know, these are in limited supply now.
They are. They are. I am glad that my wife was actually out of town and she went up and down the aisles of a Total Wine and with
There to Total Wine. She comes back with this.
well, she went up and down the aisles
She
with
hates you, Ben.
well, no,
She hates
she went up and down the aisles with her phone out doing FaceTime, and she passed Schlitz, and I was like, "You got to get a case of that, get it." So, because I'd never had it, so
you have a case.
I have a case. So I've already promised a couple out actually too.
Yeah, when they decided to go out of business, I'm sure you can raise the price for those.
Yeah.
Corn.
Yeah.
Good old corn.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Beer.
Yeah. Beer.
And old beer. Not
You
really.
say old?
No, I guess that's a Best By date.
Yeah.
Which is,
a
ironically, today.
Oh, it is today. Yeah.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Meant to be.
Good thing we didn't wait till tomorrow. This would have been bad.
It'd be crap. Schlitz is an American lager. It's 4.6%. This was first brewed in 1849. It's old. Describe it as being crisp and light with a faint sweetness. Uses Cascade, Mount Hood, and Willamette hops. They said that this is the beer that made Milwaukee famous. It was started as a small operation by August Krug. It was named the August Krug Brewery in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Joseph Schlitz started as a bookkeeper at the August Krug Brewery in 1850. He took over management in 1856 after the death of August Krug. And in 1858, he married the widow, Anna Maria Krug, and changed the name to Joseph Schlitz Brewery in 1861. Played the long game, 1850, 1861. There you go.
Yep. Makes you wonder, was he involved? Was there a conspiracy? How did he die?
Oh. By 1902, Schlitz had become the largest brewery in the United States. They were also the first brewery to use brown glass bottles, and that was starting in 1912. And that proved to be all the rage to prevent spoiling of the beer through sunlight. I did a lot of, I could have made this much longer. There is a lot of history to Schlitz, but I digress. I condensed it. Interesting, he died. He went back to his country by ship. On his way back, the ship hit a rock, sunk, and his body was never recovered. Died shipwreck.
Wow.
The company survived prohibition by making malt syrup, sodas, and bakery items. It's interesting. They tried to make chocolate, but there were some quality control issues, and they couldn't compete with Hershey's. So they kind of lost out a little on that. So they rebounded after prohibition. But then they stumbled in the late 1960s and into the 1970s because of cost cutting, quality problems, and labor conflict. The Milwaukee plant ultimately closed in 1981 after a strike. They closed that one because it was the oldest of all their breweries, and the costs of it were just too great. So they decided to close it instead of paying their workers better. So, in 1982, they sold to Stroh out of Detroit. And then Stroh ultimately couldn't recover from taking on Schlitz. And in 1999, Pabst gained control of the Schlitz brand after buying Stroh. They announced on May 15th of 2026 that it would discontinue production of Schlitz. And on the May 23rd, they took their pre-orders for the final batch of Schlitz and making it last available starting later this month, on June 27th, 2026. Pour one to our homies, I guess.
Yeah, as the recent comment said, right? Yeah, it's have y'all had Schlitz before?
Yeah, I was looking.
I've never logged it, but I've had it.
I logged it almost 11 years ago with our friend Joseph. I don't know where this was, but
Wow,
I blamed him for something.
he probably wasn't too excited that I gave him one then.
Remember this?
I'd never had it. I'd looked for Schlitz. I'd never in my mind, never since we started, or, all this kind of started roughly at the same time, seeking out beer. I don't remember ever seeing it or coming across it. And I'll obviously go first. But I know I've told you guys this, but I had a great uncle that drove a Schlitz truck in the Fort Worth area. So growing up, when we would go out to his and my aunt's house, everything he had was Schlitz branded. The clock on the wall, Schlitz. The ashtray, Schlitz. Every drinking glass, Schlitz. The blanket, Schlitz. I mean, it's just everything was like you walked into the company store. And so so now, it's like I wish I could have gotten some of that stuff, right? Because he probably had access to a lot of stuff. I mean, if you go look at a lot of the Schlitz marketing stuff, a
collector's
lot of
items.
this, a lot of the logo here with the world, they got a lot of lights, got a lot of things that, we go up in bars that are out there, you can find them on eBay and stuff, but I'm sure the prices are going to go way up on them, even though they're already old. But they just got a lot of cool, marketing stuff out there. So I'm sure I could have gotten something from him back then. But obviously I was a minor at that point, so a little different situation. But I have to say, never having this, it's a lot better than I expected. Personally, Jay, you said it right. It's beer, as you always say. And I'm stealing this from you. It's the old TV show where they have the can that says beer on it. This is it. I don't get corn, adjunct as much as I do in a lot of the other macros we have personally. I think this one's a little more crisp. It's a little bit lighter. Doesn't have a ton of flavor, but in this kind of beer, that's kind of okay to me. So, I mean, do I want one every day? No, but for what it is, I don't. I'm pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Still a macro. I'm gonna give it 6.5. Jake, you're up since you didn't log it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, man. I mean, it's kind of nostalgic now, given what we know and where it's going, and obviously for you, it's kind of got that familial connection to it. So it's unique. It's just a typical macro lager. It actually has a little more flavor than some of the others, and I enjoy it better than most that we have. I'll put it that term. I'm going to give it probably a 6. It's close to like a natural light or something like that I really like. So if it was around here, if it had been around here, this would have been a great filler beer. So sad.
Andy,
Agreed. This was better than, I don't even remember it from 11 years ago, but better than expected. And I do appreciate them indicating what hops they use, because all the other macro lagers that I've ever had to research, none of them report their ingredients.
they only list the corns they use, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much. And again, I don't get that corn.
Yeah,
It's not corny, and it does have more flavor than expected. It is light and crisp. It's kind of a shame. It's not that bad for a macro, and this would go in the rotation of filler yard beers, because I'll switch up every now and then by buying a 12-pack or case, to put in my garage beer fridge. So I'm going to give it a little more respect than I had originally went into my pre-bias. Going to give it a better rating than I did 11 years ago. However, 11 years ago, Untapped was going by the 4-star rating, or 4-point, instead of the 5-point rating. So it might be very similar. But that said, yeah, I'll give it I'm going to give it a 5.5. Not bad.
All right. I've got a few more that I can sell you if you're interested. So just keep that in mind.
I'll show you.
Keep that in mind. So just throw that out there.
teeing it up.
That will be a 6 for the Schlitz beer. Definitely, if you find this out in the wild and you want to try it, you better buy it now. So be on the lookout for it if you want to give it a shot. And I think, if you're like us and you like to try beer, and that's, your main motivation for life at this stage, then, I think it's worth grabbing, so you can try it before it's gone. So definitely do that if you come across it. Be sure to like, subscribe, cheers that notification bell. Check out all our links down below with some info if you haven't done so previously. And hey, we would definitely appreciate you hopping on into our Hopped Up Beer Review Discord server and let us know what you think of Schlitz and what should be our next macro that we can pick up. This has been a great break from the malt liquor macro Mondays we've been doing. So definitely have enjoyed this so much better than those. So with that, thanks for watching. For Andy in the attic and Jay, I'm Ben. Hey, beer.
Cheers, mates.
Schlitz, mitten durch das Herz.